Excited to talk some WNBA news. Now, I have been a Caitlin Clark fan. I've also scrutinized Caitlin Clark because I think Caitlin Clark flops. But the more and more I watch her, she reminds me of that player that you just hate to play against, but you love having on your team. Okay, I like those players, those ones that can get in your head, cause chaos, and you don't even realize it. She looks so innocent, okay? So innocent that you can't blame her, right? No one's going to blame her. She's the best thing ever, right? She's God's gift to women's basketball. In some sense, yes, but there's some really, really great talents that have came before her. But right now, that seems to be a little bit of the conflictingness that we're watching in the WNBA. Now, a couple of weeks ago, maybe even months ago, because we've been doing this show for a while, we saw this clip right here of what Caitlin, her little stunt in Ohio State. And I'm going to go back and play it, all right? So we're going to rewind time before we talk about the present. So let's check this out. Take a listen. Take a watch. Who saw the Ohio State take on Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, we all know what happened. First of all, the Buckeyes get a huge upset win. Nobody was expecting that because Iowa was playing so well. But Caitlin Clark at the end runs off, and I'm going to show it because I don't want to give away my point of view or my thoughts. I want you to see it. So if you're watching, take a little watch here. Okay, so as you can see, we see her go flying to the ground. They're all over there to help. And here it is again. Boom, she runs into a fan who's running right past the free throw line, and all of a sudden she's down. And as you can see here, they're essentially carrying her off. Coach on one side, other player on the other, her arms dangling. It looks like it's completely separated. And you think to yourself, when you see that, did that fan run into her? And there's this whole news coming out. This is why people shouldn't rush the court after big wins. First of all, exactly. God, you ever had those moments? I just had this moment. You're seeing it live. I had to watch myself. Man, thank you guys. Here we go. Thank you for watching me. All right. Because I was just watching myself and I think I wanted to turn the channel. All right. So appreciate all you followers that stay with me every Tuesday and Thursday. Give me a like. Give me that tip. Remember, we talked about it. The tip is the like. If I'm not getting that, then, change the station. All right. So right there, Caitlin got blasted. She got absolutely blasted in that game, running off the court. That was the big triumphant fall to the ground. She's limbering over there. She can't hold her arm. We've already went through all that. Okay. And then I followed it up a little bit later with this exact comment. That's the beauty of sports, the excitement. So they rush the floor because the Buckeyes just knocked out Iowa, who's top team in college basketball, and boom, Caitlin runs into a fan, and it's like, wow, you hope she's not hurt. But then I'm watching and I'm looking around and I find this video. And I might have to play this once or twice for you. Take a watch and you guys tell me.
Especially not too far from here. There's high school ball in the area as well. He's out. Bucks doesn't play much on defense.
Boom. Again, I'm going to show it one more time. I know it's a little sketchy in the beginning when I was grabbing it, but if you watch, her hands are into it. She turns her body. She goes from her right foot to her left, does a twirl, falls to the ground.
Special not too far from here. There's high school ball in the area as well. He's out. Bucks doesn't play much on.
She took her out. All right. Yeah, she totally shoved her. Still flop. Still a flop. Still taking that stance. So the whole point of that thing was, look what we saw, and then let's look at it from different angles. And we're about to do that exact same thing again, because there's always two sides to the story, right? There's actually three. There's this side, and then the truth. So we all know about what just happened in the WNBA. So the breakdown of it in the picture frame, still frame that I have up here right now, 15.8 seconds are left in the third quarter. Real tight game at this point. Kennedy Carter, the girl in the blue. So she's right at the bottom in the top left-hand corner. I'm going to start with that frame of the picture you're looking at. She's right above where it says third period, 15.8. She is stalking her prey at this point. Okay, let's just call it what it is. There's been a lot of chatter going on in the game leading up to this, and this is pure competitiveness against competitiveness. She comes in On the second frame, moving to the right, reading it like a piece of paper. The next one, she's starting to get into Caitlin a little bit, but by the bottom left-hand corner, she has now thrown the hip. She is throwing the hip into Caitlin, and Caitlin goes flying. Now, that bottom right-hand corner, if I could, I should have clipped these together. Caitlin falls the exact same way. It's like she's practiced falling. She does it so well. It's always this flail to the right. Was this completely unnecessary? Absolutely. Absolutely this was. But I'm going to tell you, as a sports fan, I like it. You want to know why I like it? The WNBA is catching lightning in a bottle in about 90 different directions right now. And this is exactly what you need. It's a perfect storm. We're watching a perfect storm. What's going on in sports right now? We could find stuff. You can dig into it, but nothing's headlining. The WNBA just snuck right in. That's why I think, who did they hire to start writing the script? Because this is a perfect time for it. Not a lot's going on. You're catching everybody's attention with just natural physical play. And be careful, WNBA. You keep these hip checks and these flagrant fouls going, you're going to be right there with the NBA real quick, because in my opinion, the NBA has gotten softer. We all think that, right? Most people think that. Compared to the 80s and the 90s, the NBA is not there. They're not. But WNBA, they're going to start playing a little more physical. But there's a lot in this storyline as you really think about it, okay? So as I continue to keep watching these still frames, I'm going to put this back up, and there's one point where that bottom right-hand corner you're going to see again. That's where Carter got into Caitlin, pushes her down. But what transpires from there is even better, because in that still frame in the top corner, let me see. Can I take that sports talk? Can we drop that banner real quick? Moonman, can you drop that for me? Because at the very top of this picture is what I want everybody to see. There is Mrs. Reese, okay? Good old Angel Reese. And she jumped up off the bench, and she is screaming with excitement. Marching orders. Okay, guess what? They're not best friends. They're competitors. I think that's what we're going to start seeing here is they really do have to have some kind of respect for one another, but they're here to change the game. And Angel Reese is definitely trying to change the game as well, because she makes a statement that says negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look, we're women's basketball. So what she's doing is she's saying, give it to me. I'll take anything, bad, good, ugly, all that. Is it making a name for the WNBA? And then she says, there's a reason why we're watching women's basketball, and it's not just because of one person. Ooh, load the gun. Shots are about to be fired. It's because of me too. Oh, we bring it back to ourselves. I want you to realize that. Now, the thing about that comment is you got to really go watch the clip, because it can be taken a couple of different ways, because she's also kind of insinuating in that is when people look back, it's going to be about more than just one person. So she is kind of being very humble there, but then in my opinion, she takes that away because she says it's about me. I'm going to be known. Now, she could have meant that as I want to be one of the people that are remembered, not just one person. But the way that the media has clipped this, snagged this, and cropped it all down, it is appearing that she's saying it's not about Caitlin. It's I'm doing things too. I'm hoping that's not the case and it's all out of context. Completely could be, not exactly sure. But going back to that whole point, Caitlin's having a game. She's chattering back and forth with Carter, and then Carter hip checks her. Angel Reese jumps up, tells her we're not going to take that because they're trying to build an identity there with the Sky. They drafted her and the girl out of South Carolina. Two monsters in the WNBA. No one should out-rebound them. I said that on here already once before. But you got to admit, Caitlin Clark, every game is televised. There's something going on. Caitlin Clark, 100%, has got this status, and the narrative going around is all these previous players that have been here before are annoyed. And you have to understand that a little bit, because even go back to your high school years. When you were an eighth grader in middle school, you were top dog of the school. You're like, I'm ruling 7th, 6th, 5th. Kindergartners, you all listen to me. I'm 8th grader. I know it all. When you go to high school, you're a freshman and you go right back down. Okay. You're at the bottom of the totem pole, and it's a tough totem pole to climb back up to be your senior. That's what's happening here. She's walking into the WNBA, and some of these vets are like, nah, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to humble you up. And I think Caitlin's done a very good job, because the amount of criticism and scrutiny and everything, the spotlight for anybody under 25 years of age that's handling in that capacity, I give a tremendous amount of credit to. Okay. I'm 40 years old, and I made one comment about Caitlin, and I've got everybody in Iowa calling me the fat, out of shape guy. Well, my self-esteem just dropped right down. It only took 2 comments and I was ruined. Caitlin's getting 2 comments every minute of negativity, and she's still going out there and performing. So I give her a ton of credit in that sense. So, I'm sorry. Are you implying that Caitlin isn't getting the crap beat out of her? No, I'm not. I'm not saying that Caitlin isn't. I think she's totally getting hip checked. There's a lot going on. I think that they're humbling her up. I think that they're sitting there saying, hey, rookie, you're going to earn your stripes here. You're not just going to walk in and you're going to get all this glitz and glory. But to us, the spectators, how could you not sit there and look and say, well, Caitlin's the reason that the WNBA is being talked about? She is right now. And I think that all those players there needs to be this joined unison of understanding of she's here to give us a spotlight. And I don't think she's trying to keep the spotlight all for herself whatsoever. I think the media, us, we want to see what she's doing. I mean, if you've noticed, they're showing the outfits of these ladies walking in. Great. There's designers. That's going to come into play here, because when I started really looking into this and saying, well, if Caitlin Clark is getting beat up, she is, I agree. She is getting very hard fouls, but we're starting to see that. And I think the athleticism in the WNBA is far more superior than it was when it first started. These girls are no joke. It's not a layup line anymore. That was always the knock on ladies basketball, is it's a layup line. It's not. They're getting physical with one another. I like that. They're playing tough-nosed basketball, how basketball should be played. And I commend that. But then there's this inner monologue of controversy going on between players of Caitlin Clark's going to be here. Well, you're riding first class. So if anybody was complaining, all the ladies now are riding first class. Why? Because of sponsorship. So in 2023, there were 4 sponsors right there. You see it? 4. AT&T, Deloitte, Google, Nike. That was it. That was absolutely your 4. And those are big names. Those are big names. But guess how many there are now? Huh? Yeah. Okay. 34 more. They have 38 sponsors. And it's their names. So let's go through them. CarMax. Okay. Good for CarMax jumping on. US Bank. Kim Kardashian even noticed this, and now she's got Skims involved. Ladies product. Okay, so that's smart marketing by the ladies. I think some of those commercials have started to come out as well already. Milel, I'm probably pronouncing it. It's a female line. So again, smart, because they're going to start marketing female products, female makeup, all that stuff. Makes sense. Okay. Discount Tire, little odd Discount Tire jumped in there. Not going to lie. Okay. When I was reading this, PlayStation, jump on it. Why wouldn't you, Sony? Meta Quest, because that's everywhere. Hennessy, thought that one was interesting. Okay. Peloton. Okay. It's called Buzzer. But when I looked into Buzzer is part of League Passes. Thank you, Jess. Thank you very much. Girls do buy tires, so it makes sense, but it was just an odd one. Discount, a tire. I just threw me off. Okay. And to be blunt, it's needed. Oh, wow. What was this comment? What was this? She's getting pummeled, and to be blunt, it's needed. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Someone felt it was needed. All right. So Ticketmaster makes sense. They want to sell what they have. Okay. Oculus, New Air, Kaiser Permanente. So they've got good insurance now. Okay. Clorox, keep it clean. Might not have to with how much they're fouling old Caitlin Clark. She's probably going to be mopping up most of the court. So Clorox, you might have lost out on this bid, or maybe you start making Caitlin's bottom shorts out of Clorox material, and she'll keep the floor clean when she's getting absolutely whacked to the ground. All right. YouTube TV. I like that. Beats by Dre, because they never invest in something that isn't trending in the right direction. Okay. American Express, Kia, Pepsi, DoorDash, Coinbase, and Wilson. Wow. That's to name a few. I didn't name all 38. That's a lot of big names. So with that being said, it is in everybody's best interest to make this as watchable as possible. And they are. Boy, are they ever. I've just sat and talked about this for 17 minutes. Yeah, look at your timestamp right now on your phone. Click it. Boom. We just clicked over to 17. 17 minutes. The WNBA has caught my attention. Awesome. Good for them. That's exactly the direction that it needs to go. That's where it should go. And that is the Caitlin Clark ripple effect. It's been going on in the NCAA. Do I think that she is the best shooter of all times right now? No. I think that there is 4 handfuls of players that are probably better in the WNBA right now, but they're not going to get the attention she gets, and they're not going to handle it the way she's handling it. The one thing I will give credit is Kennedy Carter. I want to say that correct. She doesn't speak after she hip checks her. She says, I'm not answering any Caitlin Clark. She looks like she was pouting, okay, at the presser. All the Sky, they don't answer anything. They shut up, they zip it, they don't say a word. Then they come out the following day. But who got in the way? You're right, the coach. Now, this right here is Coach Teresa Witherspoon. Intense coach. If you haven't, check her bio. Girl gets after it. Physical play, intensity, and competitive spirit are all hallmarks of Chicago Sky basketball. Kennedy got caught up in the heat of the moment in an effort to win the game. She and I have discussed what happened, and that is not it is not appropriate, nor is it what we do or who we are. Kennedy understands that there are better ways to handle the situation on the court, and she will learn from this as we all will. As a team, we will grow together and continue to work hard to display strong leadership and set a positive example for our competitors, fans, and partners. What else do you say as a coach? That's exactly what you come out and say. That is awesome. They're trying to build a culture there. And do I think Angel Reese jumping up, clapping, is saying, hey, Caitlin, we're not taking this. We're not in the NCAA. And even in the NCAA, they were going after it. They got chippy then. So it's this wave of ladies coming up. So in some sense, I'm going to agree with what Angel Reese is saying. She is going to be a pillar in this movement, but you got to respect some of the players that are currently in the WNBA. And that's exactly what Kennedy Carter comes out and says later on in her statement, because she speaks a day later. She's smart, doesn't say anything, talks with the coach, then she replies. So kudos again to whoever told them, hey, don't come out popping off at the mouth right after games because the media is going to twist, turn, and do all this. So they're smart. They take their time. They listen. They then get a collective thought, and they state it out there. But she says in there, there's a lot of players in this league, and that's what she's fighting for. So her competitiveness is coming from that spot where we were talking about, where they're saying, hey, rookie, you're not going to walk in here and just walk on all of us. There's some competitors out here, and we're going to check you. We're going to bring you back down a peg. Why? I don't know. Do you think that they're actually really mad again that they're flying in first class? I don't think so, because that's part of the sponsorships and what we got into there. So 24-hour rule is exactly right, Jess. 24-hour rule basically means you got to wait 24 hours, because after games, it's just pure raw emotion. And you trust me, I've said a lot of dumb stuff within the 24 hours. Okay. And the other thing that was kind of funny to me was I was just reading this whole Coach Witherspoon. Okay. And as I was actually reading that, I wanted to share this because it went through my head. Do you remember when it was like to be in grade school and the teacher would call you out to read in front of everybody? And when you didn't want to read because you really weren't paying attention, you then felt a little nervous when it was your time to read because everybody was listening to every word. as I was reading that, I had that exact moment happen to me again. I felt like I was back in Mrs. Tokar's class at St. Paul's. Okay, that's exactly where I felt like. And actually, she may have been the math teacher. But anyways, back then, and I was like stumbling over words. So I don't know. Random thought during the middle of the show as I'm talking about the WNBA. Thanks for staying with me. So wrapping up, we're going to be talking an awful lot about, I think, the WNBA to come, and I'm happy for it. So let's keep it up. Keep playing physical. Keep doing it, ladies. You guys are actually you're making a name, and it's exciting time to be able to watch it. And I encourage everyone to take the time to go watch some of it and get into it.